What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your pre-market watch list today. Couple things that are moving this morning. For one, we got a big penny stock so far, SCKT, that's gone from 3 all the way to 10. This is a 4 million share float. It's been running, obviously, as you can see so far this morning. Almost every single dip gets bought up and continues to squeeze up. So we're staying on the long side of the stock for now. Not going to be bearish. If the price ends up even pre-market at like 15, then we'll be bearish. Or if sometime during market open we're towards 15, 16, then we'll for sure be bearish. So for now on SCKT, we are playing the long side. If you look at the right screen, you'll see where this line's at. And if you go to the 4 hour, you're going to see I put this line like here. All right, so if you look at the screen on the left, you're going to see that that's kind of where this move started, pushed up through those long-term levels, and then we've gone running. So over the course of the next couple days, there's a strong chance you're going to see the price of the stock try to reverse back down more towards 5, 6, basically where these trends are. So the stock is overbought right now. Yes, there is momentum behind it, so definitely meant to be following for, maybe trading purposes, maybe not so much swing trading. But for now, it looks very strong. We're going to continue staying on the long side. If you read the news with this stock today, it has something to do with like a barcode scanner for the iPhone 12. I already figured there was enough barcode scanners that exist. I don't really understand how that news is all that special. Maybe because Apple iPhone is in the headline of this stock that people see it as more special, whatever it might be. So we're still following it, either or. We're going to watch long bias for now, and then at some point we'll probably be watching the stock a little bit more bearish, okay? There's really no price points to go off of entirely for the time being, so we're not even going to really touch on that. Something else a lot of us are watching today is PLTR. So this stock sold off quite a bit today. We wanted to see PLTR down at 27.30 for a bounce. We ended up holding 28 and bouncing. So we might not do anything with PLTR. Again, like I said, we kind of wanted it at 27. We went to 28 and bounced. So if in the event somehow we get down towards 27.30s, we might look for a bounce on PLTR again. But for now, we're already kind of underway in a bounce, so that play is kind of gone. But that was going to be one of the mentions this morning, was looking for a long down at 27.30 on PLTR. But that may not happen here. So anyways, maybe keep an eye on PLTR. If it does go to 27.20, you could watch it. But again, we're already bouncing right now, so that might not hold so much merit. All right. Next thing we'll probably touch on is Bitcoin for sure, because Bitcoin hit 50,000 this morning. Well, it did, and then it's selling off now. So you should have seen some upwards movement in MARA and Riot. Again, anytime Bitcoin looks like it's going to go higher, watch MARA and Riot, because they're most likely going to continue higher with MARA and Riot as Bitcoin continues higher. So doesn't look like we're getting bullish activity from MARA and Riot this morning, but if somehow Bitcoin does anything crazy, continues to jump up, then of course those are going to flip more into the long side. All right. A couple other penny stocks and things that were moving this morning were ALJJ. This was moving earlier. It kind of sold off, but it sold back off really to support. So kind of still watching this ALJJ, a little long bias. It doesn't really have news today. That's the other downside of this. So ALJJ or ALJJ might be decent. Again, the reason I kind of like it is because it broke out and then it pulled all the way back down to long-term trending support. So you see that blue line there? You see how it broke up, and then this candle came back down directly to it, and then it bounced. So this is the market holding support here over a long-term trend. The question is whether or not we can continue moving up away from it into the open. If we start to come back down and break below the 220, then I would be less optimistic that this ALJJ is going to perform into a good long. Something else that was moving was SOS. So this is another candidate we're keeping on watch. You can see SOS has been running, breaking out. This morning we have a pretty strong gap up. I feel like we got to be on the long side of SOS this morning, only because we grinded up and then gapped up here. So it does seem like the momentum is favoring the upside for right now. And if we were to bet bearish, we might get our ass kicked initially. So SOS, for now, watching on the long side. First target on the long, if it can break here, would be up to 1050, and then we would most likely see resistance around 1050 on SOS. If we can get through 1050, that's where we could suggest that there's a bigger move to be had. And also something that I'll mention for maybe a swing trade here is AMD. And really the reason I'm talking about AMD is if you look at NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA came out of this long flag development and squeezed like crazy, and it's still long bias, still a little more bullish on that for now. But as you can see, NVIDIA, strong jump, all right? AMD likes to follow NVIDIA. A lot of times they all kind of move in unison. So you can see we haven't quite gone, back to the all-time high on AMD, but there's a good chance we're going to try to. Just as NVIDIA kind of broke up, went towards the all-time high, there's a good chance you're going to see NVIDIA maybe trying to push back towards the $100 mark. So that's what we're keeping an eye on with AMD, is maybe a move back to 100. And then the last thing I'll touch on here is NEO. NEO is at a very important point today. All right, if you look at NEO, which I have a bunch of drawings on that look kind of gross, so let me take those off. If you look at NEO, right, zoom in here, we're just below this trend, right? So what's the importance of that? I mean, if I could simply put it, the importance of that little trend there is it's kind of the control point of this flag pattern, all right? So you see how we kind of have like this wedge going on, and it's like a bull flag. Well, the mean of that bull flag is that line, right? And you can see we've had a couple candles go up to it and trade below it. You can see this current candle went directly to it. We're below it. So it's important that if this is going to continue long bias in the immediate, like today, that we would be back up and over 60.45, reclaiming that price. And then we could suggest that maybe at that point, NEO does want to move higher and continue trying to develop this kind of bullish formation. So we're watching NEO long bias, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but just overall we're keeping our eye on it to see if we can sustain that average price point and trend, which means we need to get kind of back up towards like 61. So still a little bullish on NEO if we can reclaim that 60.40 price today. And that there, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the watch list for today. So SCKT, good candidate. PLTR, earnings down big, might have a good jump. AMD maybe on the swing move, and SOS we're just following because it's had a good gap up today and momentum's pretty strong. So I appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. Thanks again as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one.